Everyone, welcome to our reality, everyone. I don't know why you're here, but I'm glad you are, because right now we're going to be talking about this chaotic week of Big Brother, or I should say chaotic weeks of Big Brother that are happening simultaneously right now. We're going to catch up on both of the groups that we have in this split house twist, whatever you want to call it. We've got Dyre Fest, we've got Big BroChella. I'm going to have to get used to saying that, or maybe not. I don't want to ever say it again if I'm going to be completely honest. But we have two groups to talk about. We have nominations. We have now, as of 2 minutes ago, two different veto winners to talk about as well. And we're going to be going over all of it. We are live right now. Welcome, everyone. If you are in chat, feel free to hop in there. If you're not watching live, hello to you as well. If you're listening audio only on any podcast platform, hello to you out there. Yeah, let's do this. My name is Barrett. If you're joining us for the first time, I am joined by the same people that have been here all throughout Big Brother 24. I have the lovely Roxy Hotman, Zach Perez, and Nick City here with me to talk about this mess of a couple of days that we have to go over. But I'm going to start with Roxy, because Roxy, your girl Indy, went home on a 7-1 vote on Thursday night in a 2-hour special event, as Julie wanted to put it. We'll see if that's really the case once we start talking about that episode. But I want to know, do you feel like the house is a little bit more empty without Indy? Not just numbers-wise, but like emotions-wise. Are you going to miss having Indy around?
I really hate you right now.
Hey, it's better
I really do.
It's better than most. So
No, she's not. I mean, yeah, I suppose. But on what scale? That's the question. Okay. So she's not my girl. For anybody who's new here, just know that Barrett's full of it. She's not my girl. Whatever. Is the house emptier without her presence? Shut up. Sure. I guess. Not really. No. I didn't really notice her that much to begin with. Just every now and then when she was, complaining about something. But mostly about Joseph not liking her. But, other than that,
the most she
it's
said
fine.
was her little memoir before she left.
Yeah,
Oh,
oh
I
my
kept
gosh.
waiting on Julie to break in. Like, Indy,
I was like,
you're
yeah,
giving a
Indy, unless you're
speech.
going to
She
talk
was
Come
over
on.
about
here
some...
like, yes, girl.
You know why Julie didn't stop her
16.
though? Yeah. Julie didn't stop her because she was talking about, the Bible and living your best, version of yourself and a lot of things that Julie would make into Judaisms. So Julie was taking notes out there. That's why she didn't stop her. She was like, I need a pen and a paper. I've got this is good stuff. I'm gonna
I'm
write it down.
surprised
That's
she
what
didn't
happened.
say Barrett.
Oh, I don't have it with me. I'm so sorry.
Uh-huh.
I just think you're a child of God. I don't know. I don't have the soundboard with me. I mean, I do. I just didn't have it ready for that clip. I apologize for everyone. That's the first time I haven't had it this entire season. Of course, Zach calls me out for it. Anything else, Roxy? I did enjoy Indy's monologue, and I mean, it was like, but also at the same time, when you go on for that long, it's like, unless you're going to talk about someone's nephew, just kind of leave the house at that point.
Awkwardly
I mean, I
and
guess.
slyly.
I guess I was just like, well, I mean, at that point, I was like, my gosh, we have been on this special episode for like an hour and a half at this point. Get out. I'm ready to see whatever is special about this episode.
Yeah.
But the joke was on me because there was absolutely nothing special about the episode.
I know.
It was especially boring.
Yes. Well, Zach, that is going to be my question for you. We talked about, the night before, like, oh, maybe we should go live or have a watch party or something. Are you glad we didn't, for this 2-hour episode, have any sort of podcast or anything going on after that?
I am glad. You know why? Because unfortunately, they didn't have much of an endurance comp this year. But the endurance this year was this 2-hour episode. Because in between, even during some of the stuff, I was reading a book because I was bored out of my mind. Reading is good,
What
don't get me
book?
wrong.
What are
But
you reading?
I was reading Rework, and it was much more entertaining than whatever CBS decided to put
What?
together.
But Terrance had so many tattoos, Zach. How do we not enjoy all 182 tattoos being shown?
I was waiting for a
In a weird order too. Like after
yeah.
it's like they already talked about it, and then it's like, and oh yeah, remember back to the tattoos, and I'm like, I thought we were past
I
all
bet you
this.
forgot about that, didn't you?
Oh
I
my god!
appreciated the throwbacks. I was expecting a Helen was push tattoo, but didn't happen.
No, would never acknowledge that.
But they had the Wax Street Boys, so Vanessa Russo, Nick City's favorite, made an appearance.
Yes. She is.
That's not even a joke. That's actually someone's favorite. I feel like we never genuinely call out favorites on this show. But yeah, Zach, thank you for saying all those nice things about the episode. I agree with you. It was torture, and I hope we never have to live through that again. But Nick,
we will.
I'm going to go to you now, because at the end of that 2-hour special event, we saw our houses be formed, our Terrance house and our Michael house, which added a bit of intrigue, having Terrance as one of the HOHs. That takes off a lot of possibility of having 2 members of the convenience store, or whatever you want to call the alliance that Terrance was distantly a part of, from being evicted this week. So I want to know, now that we're 2 days in, without too much spoilers going into it, how are you feeling about this twist so far?
I guess better than what I was expecting. So right after we had the HOH results, I was like, you know that like meme of the girl where she's like,
Yeah.
but that was literally me. So I was like very skeptical, as our cups actually say. Cautiously optimistic here. Because I was like, okay, we have someone not from the majority as an HOH, so like things could get a little spicy here. But I mean, like, I'll put it this way: one house is like exactly how I expect it to be, and then the other house, I'm like, okay, like this is interesting. So
yeah. I will say right now, to kind of catch everyone up if you're not watching feeds or anything, we have one very predictable house. And that's going to be Michael's group. And I'll go over who is in each house right now. But we also have Terrance's group in the outside in Dyre Fest. That is way more intriguing and depressing to watch as they...
Aren't we going to talk about how they got put in these houses and the abomination of the... You do it however you want to. I'm just ready to complain.
No, I was just
you
going
go
to end the
ahead.
podcast right here, Roxy. I think we're just going to wrap it up now.
That's
We're not
done.
gonna
Well,
go
I
over
mean,
it.
honestly, we could. That's all there is to know.
No,
My
it's
God.
not. Okay, but now we're going to go over who is in each house or group or festival. I don't know what to call it anymore. There's a lot of names for everything for this twist, and I wish they would just pick one and stick to it.
Let's just call it tribes. They're in tribes.
Okay.
They're taking everything for Survivor. Let's just go ahead and take that too.
it feels like tribes, honestly.
First of all, I do want to ask y'all, how did you feel about how the 2 HOHs were decided? Were you okay with the eliminator comp deciding who was going to be inside and outside? Because I was okay with that. I thought that was much better.
I wanna say, Brittany girl, what are you doing? Like, I literally caught that VIP in 1 second. Literally one. And it took them 20 seconds.
You're not on live television in front of millions of people, Zach.
Oh,
It's
come
way
on.
different. I'm going to defend Brittany here.
Oh, come on. Her and Terrance,
Defending
literally
Brittany.
Terrance, the second runner-up. Like, come on.
Listen.
I don't know. Terrance, Terrance is...
Terrance?
He's a bus driver. He is a trained observer of everything around him, so he doesn't wreck. So he'd be driving like spotting everything. So he was like good at that comp. He was like,
Yeah,
God,
and
He's
also
also
took
a
him.
I don't-
DJ.
It also took him 4 weeks, 5 weeks to finally figure out after someone told him there's actually a bigger alliance.
I didn't say he was smart. I said he was good at looking at things, Zach. What are you talking about?
Well, you said observing. I mean, you can observe if a group of people are always
Observing
hanging out in the
things.
HOH room.
Nick, I'd like you to
look,
expand on that he's
whatever.
a DJ point that you just made. How does that relate exactly to this competition?
He, as he said himself, he is an artist. He looks at things.
As a
Okay.
DJ.
I thought you were gonna have like the defense of he has a board in front of him that he could use as like a.
That's a
I was gonna
karaoke
say he
DJ.
popped off like more than I thought he ever would have. Like, I don't know.
I
how did he
honestly
get,
was
like,
kind of surprised.
two?
I wasn't
Yeah.
surprised that Brittany lost or how
Me neither.
I wasn't surprised because I was like, this seems to be pretty much the way it goes for Brittany every time. Like she's like, wah wah, like, oh geez. I did not spot any of them, but that is because
Nicole,
by
right
the
there.
time that they showed all of this, I was driving home from Conway, so I couldn't very well be looking at it, but I was listening.
I was just
Imagine you
looking for-
swerving along the interstate trying to find
Yeah.
Nicole with
Yeah.
the VIP sign.
I was just
running
looking for a
off the
V,
road.
and then I was like, oh,
V,
There it
yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I saw a tweet that said that this first round lasted 23 seconds and or 2.3 Kyles, as they put it. While every other round, especially the ones with
The
Michael,
shade.
maybe lasted 3 seconds. So this was by far the most extensive round that we had. But
like I said, I got it in 3 seconds.
I know that there was some talk at the beginning of last week of just like, oh, Terrance is good at the mental comps. And that kind of added to the discussion after Terrance wins of just like, they should have listened to Taylor. He's so good at mental
Is this
comps.
a mental comp though? I don't. Is this is
Compared
that a
to the
mental
other
comp?
5 HOH competitions
I
that we've
would
had?
I
Yeah.
mean,
it
I just think
one.
it's an eyesight. This is. An
I think it's a more of a like a reflex comp.
I guess.
I guess.
I
What do you
mean,
mean?
you
I
have to
don't- really,
you have to
I
make
don't
sure
guess. I
your
don't know what
eyes
you
are
mean.
attached and like, you know.
This is a
Oh,
focus.
wait! Show me one
comp.
more time. Show me one more time.
Or how Michael
Very
was like,
good, Zach.
I don't know how you don't call this a mental comp, though. I'm sorry. Like, this is very much a focus.
I
Focus
consider
under
Yes.
pressure.
When I think of mental, I think of like where you actually have to think. I don't know. Like I
And
feel
this
like
is-
you just
I'm sorry.
like-
Do you not think in this comp?
well. Some of them didn't. You just look and press, and that's it.
so
Look,
you
press.
think mental comps are more puzzles.
I mean, yeah. Like I think. I mean, I guess I would classify it mental because it's not really a crapshoot. It definitely is not physical. It's just like it was just like an eye exam comp. That's all it was.
I mean, yeah, and Brittany failed dramatically. She needs her
Which is
vision's
so surprising
Yeah.
because she is always so like looks very alert.
Oh my gosh, not this.
She looks. Well,
She should have
I'm
been
just
like-
saying, she always looks. She always looks like she is very alert and taking everything in. And then she got up there and she was like, "Meh, don't see anything." She had her
She was
blinders on.
VIP.
I can't see anything.
It's because she couldn't get close to the camera.
She didn't even try to hypnotize Terrance up there. Like, give a little bit of an
Not
effort,
even
right?
once. Not even once.
We don't have to talk too much about this HOH comp, but
Wait.
what?
I also do want to say we were very close. I had lost Jasmine in the shuffle. I think she got to the final 3, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, it took until Michael, I think, picked Jasmine and Terrance when there were 4 people left.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that Jasmine was like, had won somehow. And I was like, wait, where'd Jasmine go? Like, you know, I didn't hear the, go take me a second, get up there. But
2 for 2 on the Jasmine impressions. I loved it. No, I was like, it was weird. I was secretly rooting for a Jasmine and Terrance double HOH just for the chaos. I'm fine with what we
Oh my
got,
gosh.
but I mean, obviously that was never going to happen. Like there was literally no possibility in which Jasmine and Terrance could both win that competition. But I was at least hoping for one because that just adds a lot more intrigue, which a lot of people this week are just wishing for Jasmine and Alyssa to go home. And call me a bad fan. I don't know. But
No,
I don't
you're not a
want
bad
that.
fan.
I don't want that at all.
Look, you're not a bad fan. The people who are screaming from the rafters that they want for that to happen are only saying that because they are biased towards a certain player or group of players. That's what that is about. I don't care who goes home. I don't care who stays. Well, that's not true. I do care, but they're not looking at it from a logical standpoint or even from an entertainment value standpoint. But I'm sorry, we would have all hated if Jasmine and Terrance had been HOHs for the week, but also just think how lively the feeds would have been and how much we would have had to talk
Mhm.
about. It would have been fantastic, and we would have all hated it, and we could all just come together and hate it together. But instead, we're not. That's that. I don't think it makes you a bad fan.
I just, for me, like, it doesn't matter regardless. My girl is safe. Anyway, it
Who's your
turns
girl?
out Taylor.
Oh, yes, I'm on board. I didn't know if you were
I thought
on
you were
board with Nick.
What? Oh,
Not
no.
Nick, well, you like
wow.
Alyssa.
She's just
You like
there.
Alyssa.
She's just
Ew.
furniture. She's like,
I mean, my girl's basically safe too, so but we'll get there.
I just was determining which girl is which girl for who and what, and I'm on the Taylor train.
I thought he
with
was talking about
Zach.
Jasmine because he was talking to you, and that's your girl. So
Oh my God!
no, her girl's not safe. Roxy's saying a prayer for her.
I'm
10
saying a
Hail
prayer that
Marys.
she goes home, although I'd rather it be
Yeah,
Kyle.
because you miss her so much. You're like, maybe I can sneak into the jury house and finally get to see my girl again.
Yeah.
But
Everyone knows that that's definitely the type of person that I would associate with. Please.
yeah.
Although my question, like, it is questionable who I associate with. I am on a podcast with Zach, so.
So I guess that means
I'm just playing.
Oh no, maybe I should stop since I don't want to associate anyone that associates you with Jasmine. Oh,
that should be your first warning for sure.
so that means Jasmine's all of our girls.
Oh,
We've been bamboozled.
she played all of us this entire time.
when Jasmine covers next season,
Don't manifest that kind of thing.
Julie was looking like
any former house guest.
Like a slab of meatloaf up there. What?
I could see her taking advantage of that, like just doing her own live feed updates every day. I mean,
And all it is just a bunch of like entrees you can find at the I don't know what restaurants are. It's like the Cracker Barrel. That's what they would serve. Meatloaf, chicken fried steak, all of basically everything that she's named. That's where you can find it. Is at that restaurant.
yes.
I couldn't think of any other Southern chain restaurant. What is there?
Browns.
Southern chain restaurant. I think of like Cracker Barrel when I think of Southern chain restaurant.
I mean, that's what I said. That's the only one I could think of off the top of my head.
I know. Like,
Cracker
there's no
Barrel,
other one.
Golden Corral.
Yes, that one. Yeah, they have that.
But
I'm just saying, everything that she is named, it's like, well, that's on the menu there. You look like a slab of meatloaf.
I'm sorry.
She's getting us
You look
prepared
like
for
a deep
Thanksgiving.
fried turkey.
Okay.
But I just don't like how, I mean, I think we can all agree. I mean, Kyle's gameplay is bad.
We'll get there.
Yeah, but I'm just mad at the fact that people are making decisions that aren't beneficial for them.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get there because I don't know that I necessarily
I
agree
know.
with that this week.
I desperately need to at least say who is
Move
in
on.
each
Yeah,
of these groups. So we have Michael and Terrance as our reigning HOHs. We knew at the end of the episode that we were going to see a schoolyard pick, which was our worst fear. Really going into
They ruined it.
Yeah, I know they were. I think
did.
Big Brother Network worded it as like they were so close to having a good twist, but this schoolyard pick pretty much ruled out any sort of all leftovers side of the house, which I think would have been the most interesting thing to work with. The outcome that we had still isn't not interesting. It's only just half interesting considering only one of these groups is actually doing something that I find worthwhile and like want to watch the feeds for. Okay. But Michael and Terrance, I know each of their first picks. Michael picked Jasmine as his first. Terrance picked Turner. So, which is
that's
very
the target.
Yes, which was very interesting first picks
Well, he's
to me.
not strategic.
He
He just has a good eyesight.
I didn't say anything. He just saw Turner from a distance and then said him.
Yes.
But after that, it's a little fuzzy. I think Michael picked Monty last, from what I've gathered from their conversations. Okay, but Michael's group in total is Jasmine, Brittany, Taylor, and Monty. So he's got his closest allies in Brittany and Taylor, the target of Jasmine, and then the pawn of Monty. Perfect group for Michael, essentially, going into this, and especially what he's trying to form as the week is going to go along. Terrance picked Turner first, as we know, but he also picked up Kyle, Alyssa, and Joseph. So the showman stays together. And then we have Joseph and Turner, the two members of the Leftovers that are in there. Kyle is no longer a member of the Leftovers in my eyes from what he does later on. But that's our groups. So we're going to have to decide right now. Do we want to talk about Big BroChella and Michael's group, the inside group?
Yeah, let's get them over with.
Okay. We're going to talk about them first. And timestamps are going to be your friend in this podcast as well as they were for the last one. So after this is all over, if you want to look in the description for all the timestamps of when we talk about who, or who we talk about, when what we talk, that you can look down there. So
If we decide to talk about then.
sure. I don't know. What are words anymore? What is the season?
They
So
should have just drew rocks or bubblegum in a dish to decide the teams.
I only learned about the bubblegum in a dish. What do you call that phrase? Song? I don't know. Chant?
Bubblegum in a dish.
I didn't know that
How
was a
many
thing until
pieces do
last
you
year.
wish?
I don't remember who.
What?
Yeah.
You have
I
a
think.
sister. How do you not know that?
What is that supposed to mean?
Bubblegum,
Not
bubblegum
even.
in a
Did you
dish.
ever go to elementary school? Like
No.
what?
I mean, for real. Engine number 9. Going down Chicago Live. If the train should jump the track, do you want
So
your
I'm
money back?
telling
don't
you, we
know.
did this all last year
Cinderella,
too.
I
dressed in
don't
yellow,
know.
went upstairs to kiss a fella, made a mistake and kissed a snake. How many doctors did it take? You don't know any of these jump rope
I'm
songs?
telling you, we had
Medicaid
the same
songs?
conversation last year when I learned about this. After someone
This
said
is
it
so
on
disappointing.
BB23. It's whatever.
Barrett, come over later. We'll work on some of them.
No.
Duck, duck, goose.
Goose.
You know that one?
No.
Yes, you do. That's a lie.
Okay. Michael.
Okay, keep going.
Big BroChella, the inside group, the insiders, the leftovers. No, the leftovers plus Jasmine. This is a very straightforward house that we're working with, which is Michael has initially decided that he's going to put up Jasmine and Monty. Of course, he's going to tell Jasmine that the target is Monty. He's going to tell Monty that he's telling Jasmine that he is the target, and they're going to evict Jasmine. End of week. And you want to know what? That's pretty much exactly what's going to happen. I have zero hope that their mind is going to change at all, that Monty is going to be evicted. And honestly,
And you told Jasmine, and she didn't even question it. She didn't even question
but of
it.
course, yeah, now's the time to get Monty out.
didn't
Exactly.
say-
Yeah, because
didn't
they even talked through scenarios, and they were like, she was like, well, what happens if the veto is used? And then Michael was like, well, if the veto gets used by Monty, then we'll just put up Taylor, and then it'll just be you and Taylor that at the end of the week anyway. So, and then she's like,
Didn't
oh,
even
okay.
question, like,
She didn't
I
ask
mean,
like,
it's her
Okay,
birthday
and who
week.
would
She's not
the
thinking
target
anyone's
be?
gonna vote her out. Like,
she was just like, awesome, cool, thanks. And then limped away. And I'm like,
and she
why didn't
waddled
you-
away, waddle.
okay. So I just thought that was really bizarre because I mean, if that's me, I'm gonna be like, oh, so you're gonna send me home then? I'm gonna start putting in work. She was just like, okay, cool, that sounds great. Maybe she's like, I just want to go to the jury house. I don't know. It was weird to me though.
Well, there's also just not much she can do about it. But at the same time, what do we really expect from Jasmine? Like, do we expect her to really
Yeah.
go all out at this point?
No,
save
I just
herself?
expect her to name different food dishes and compare them to people. That's all I expect from her, and to hurt her ankle and demand for people to serve her.
Right. Well, she did
Jasmine's
make the
like-
argument that it is, since it is her birthday week, she would like to not go home, which is the third week in a row that she has used the the strategy of it's my birthday week, which Michael and Brittany have really gotten a kick out of. They know, like, she wasn't serious in really saying this, but at the same time, I think she kind of was. I'd like to think that she was a
Well,
little bit.
she is, because she thinks, okay, in her mind, she thinks, Julie, I have found a strategy that works for me, and I'm gonna keep using it. And in the background, you just have like Michael and Brittany, and they're just like, she's a moron. Like, it didn't have anything to do with your birthday, Jasmine. That was not who we needed to get out. But she's like, my birthday did it for me again, just like ice cream. I don't know, like it's something that didn't make sense. Just like an ice cream sundae. Okay. I feel like every comparison she makes, we all go, what? You're prettier than a chicken fried steak. And half of America is like, what is a chicken fried steak?
Where is a chicken fried steak on the prettiness scale would be my question. Like, I get that I like prettier than a chicken fried steak, but like, what does that mean exactly?
I don't know because I've never once. I have the luxury of being from the South and do know what a chicken fried steak is. It's delicious, but I've never once looked at it and gone, "It's a beaut. Look at it. Look how beautiful this is." Not one time I've been like, "This looks good. I'm about to eat it," but I've never said like. Imagine if some like your friend has a baby and you go and you know it's the first time you see the baby and the friend's like, look at my baby. Most people are like, oh my gosh, your baby's so beautiful. What if your friend said, oh my gosh, just like a slab of meatloaf and green beans? What
I would call someone probably.
Honestly,
It's
that's how
so
that's how
weird.
some people are on Facebook and Instagram. Like, oh my gosh, she's just so cute. I want to eat them all up like a little baby wreck of ribs.
Like I have heard somebody say so cute I could eat them, but I've never heard the like a baby rack of ribs added onto the end of that
That's
stick.
basically what they're saying. Like,
That sounds
it's
a
very
little
weird. I hate it
concerning.
whenever people say stuff like that. Like, you could just eat them up. Like, stop.
I mean,
I'm just like, oh, your baby's so cute. They all look like potatoes, but
Oh, they all look like.
Okay, Jasmine, I didn't know you were here.
they all look like potato. Well, when Daniel was here, he sounded like a potato. So,
He did.
oh, but Jameson's not in chat, so never mind. I was going to tell him something.
Oh. Okay. So another thing that Jasmine is doing that I find really funny is that suddenly, now that they're in like a Final Five type of scenario, every person that she talks to, she has been like, you're gonna see when you watch back. Like from day one, I was like, yes, this is the person. Like I just want to be at the end with
Never
you.
said
Like
a bad word about you.
I know that's how that's how
on.
she is with everyone that she's talking to right now, which I find really fascinating. But
Which is so dumb. That requires you to trust now and then find out if you're right later. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
like,
Right.
trust me now, and just trust me that later you'll be able to trust me still after this game's over.
when I don't want anything anymore, just know that you can trust me. And when I have the power,
When my
just
birthday
don't
week
don't
is
trust me as
over.
much. Yeah, you're gonna see a different side of me that you've never seen before. Yeah, you're gonna see paper towel above my upper lip style Jasmine at that point.
You're gonna see me bent over, ready for you to wipe my ass.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't know where you were going with that at first. I was like, what?
Well,
What are you
even
saying
where
that?
he ended was still a lot to give in a sentence.
I mean,
It
it
was still
happens,
a
Jasmine.
lot,
We're not
but I was
We're not.
nervous.
You're not living this down, Jasmine.
well, how could you? Yeah, Nicole, you got any regrets from the game yet? Maybe just
Nicole has
one.
entered the chat.
Oh God, no! Please, get her out. Can I ban her?
Those were my actions. Mine.
Yes.
With my hand and my toilet paper.
Yes. Okay. So nominations happened yesterday, and we have Monty and Jasmine go up on the block. As we all expected, expect the expected as always. And then we had the veto competition also take place last night, which was unexpected to have that happen that early. But when you have two veto competitions to work with, of course, maybe we should have thought of that ahead of time. But they came back, and Brittany was the winner of the big BroChella veto competition.
Which is the most shocking thing this entire summer. What was the comp?
It was.
I mean, I know what it was. It was the fold and stay, but
Yeah.
which we haven't seen in a long time.
Oh, I didn't know
maybe
that.
she
I
and
like that
Michael-
comp.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they got rid
I
of
do
it
too,
just
but
because
it's
people
so
gamed
easy
it.
to play around it. Like if you can play around something like that, I mean, usually they're like, it's a fan favorite, let's keep doing it. But not that one. They were like, this is too easy for them to control, so we can't have that. Because why would we want the players to be in control of anything? We're in control, says
Yeah.
production. And
So here, schoolyard pick, everyone.
This is the first
Exactly.
booth comp too, right?
I'm sorry,
first
say that
what?
again.
The first booth comp. You know, whenever they're in a booth.
Oh,
Well,
you might
the
be right.
porta potty comp, technically they were in a booth, but I
they were
mean,
in a toilet.
it wasn't technically.
But yeah.
It was a qualifier.
It was a
comp, I
booth
guess.
potty.
Yeah.
But yes, I don't know. I just I feel like Brittany and Michael,
Could
both
have gamed it.
have enough, knowledge to know how to game it, but they wouldn't have had any. I mean, what are they gonna like? As soon as they find out, did they quickly whisper to each other? Like there was no.
Yeah, and plus I
prior
don't think
knowledge.
Michael. Yeah, I don't think Michael's gonna say anything anyways because he's playing dumb
Yeah.
about how much game he knows.
Either way, it's shocking that Brittany. Like, were y'all shocked when it came back and said Brittany, and you were like,
Maybe a tad bit.
I was.
Especially
like, did everyone else disqualify? Did they quit? What
Listen,
happened?
Brittany was talking a lot after the feeds came back on, and she said this was the competition. When I was watching at home, I said I can do this. She said she also thought that about the wall comp when she said, "Well, I was wrong about that, but this one I knew I could do." And Michael did say that he could have won the competition, but he may just be hyping himself up in that case when he came
I
back.
don't
to
Why
the
would he
show.
need
I
to
mean,
win anything so far?
yeah, his threat level is bigger than Janelle's.
Yeah. Well, you asked us, are we counting Michael and Brittany's dual veto that they had? Because if so, he ties Janelle. Is that it?
Yeah. No, he ties. Yeah, he ties Janelle. Mhm.
That's crazy. I wonder if he knows that. Surely he does.
Because
He
I
tied
was looking-
Janelle before jury started. That's what's crazy. Hers is for the entire season. His tie is before jury. And let's make no mistake, I don't think Brittany factors into his win at all, really.
Especially Otev. I mean, come on. She was the first
Well,
one
yeah,
out.
she was out first. Well, I mean, she did require stitches, which they didn't show. But
yeah.
They
It's not
did it
canon.
actually. Yeah, it's not
I don't
canon.
know what
I don't know what that
happened.
is.
it's a
But-
legend that she has stitches right now.
No, it is not. She just got the sutures out and had like the dissolvable tape stuff put on like this week. They
I
took
didn't see
out
that in the
the
episode.
sutures. Yeah, well, God knows that if it happened in the house, it's on the episode.
They show everything,
They do.
especially the more controversial stuff 3 weeks after the fact that it actually happens. But, a whole
Yeah.
different issue. Okay, so I want to talk about probably the most intriguing part about Big BroChella or Michael's group or the insiders or the innies, if we want to call them that.
Thank you.
Which is kind of playing a little bit of the long game now. We have the big discussion of, do we take the shot at Monty or do we take the shot at Jasmine? Which taking a shot at Jasmine is not really taking a shot. It's just kind of like giving a nudge off the wall like Helen. But that's the big conversation. It didn't happen. I was joking. As to whether to take that shot now or to wait. And I think Michael and Brittany and even Taylor to some extent are making the right choice in keeping Monty around, which is, I wouldn't have said this thinking about this twist last week, like, no, you got to take Monty out if you have the chance over Jasmine. But what they're doing is they're cultivating the relationship with Monty instead, which I think is going to pay dividends, especially with what's happening on the other side of the house. When we have the weekend and we're going to see the outcome. And of course, we're going to talk about Dyre Fest and that mess, which it truly is Dyre Fest over there, I got to say. If we're doing a parody of Fyre Fest in the Big Brother version, it is to a T exactly what should be happening over there.
Very authentic setup.
Yes. And I think they're making the right choice in that case because they're giving themselves like 2 extra shields that they're going to work with. And they're big.
He wasn't gonna. I think the second that Terrance got the outies, if you will, the second HOH, I don't think Michael was prepared to take a big shot because he would have been the only one, because he can't really anticipate that Terrance will take a big shot, because who knows what Terrance is going to do. He might think, oh, Joseph will have influence over him over there, and he doesn't want to be the only one who takes a big shot and takes this big player out and then has the answer to those people over there, because even though Kyle's like, screw them to Michael, he doesn't trust Kyle. So, I mean, I think it's smart of him to keep Monty. They are, talking like Final Four with Taylor and
Right.
Monty and Brittany and Michael, which I think is pretty smart, honestly. But
It is. I don't think you should necessarily take Monty to the Final Four unless you are for sure that you can get him out, which is very uncertain once you get to that point.
it
But
is.
I think Thomas has a good point in chat. Monty is a bigger threat, and it will keep the target off of their back if they vote him out. Michael becomes a bigger target. Exactly. Michael's already done enough. He doesn't need to also
Exactly
get rid of
right.
Monty when he doesn't have to. And even the thing is, he's doing this not knowing what's happening on the other side, but what he doesn't know is that doing this is going to help him so much more, because as we know, Kyle is going to come back as the ultimate villain on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And is going to be an easy target for Monty to go after. And Kyle, we already know, is going to go after Monty before Michael and Brittany as well. So he's got
Exactly.
two extra
because
targets
of the
in front
work
of
they
him.
have put in the last 2 or 3 weeks that everybody's been so up in arms about Michael and Brittany betraying the leftovers. I mean, listen, I like those people too, but you can't all win, and the name of the game is to get to the end. And in order to do that, they have pitted this side of their group against this side of their group, because at that point, these other people that are not in the leftovers, they're a non-factor at this point. So they've whittled them down as far as they can. It's time to plant the seeds between these people so you can leave yourself, who you're at the bottom of this group already. You've got to figure out how to be not at the bottom of the group. And the best way to do that is make this person mad at this person. That's what they've done. They've already put in all of that work. Now they're split. They're going to come back together. Kyle's going to be on the outs because he's got a loud mouth. And this is going to be great for Michael and Brittany, and also for my entertainment. But at the same time, it's real hard for me to separate the emotional part of who I really like versus, well, that's the way the game works. It's like, I'm super competitive, though. I've said it time and time again. I'll make my own kid cry during a board game. I don't care. I want to win, and that's the way that it is. And so in that respect, I'm just like, okay, this is the game. And sometimes my judgment gets a little bit clouded when I'm looking at the game, and I really have to stop and pull myself back and go, okay, I've got to remove this emotion part of me and being like, nobody should ever go against whoever my favorite is. And at this point, it would be Taylor and Joseph. But do I want to see somebody else go, I'm going to throw my game away in order to push them further? No, I don't want to see that. Yeah. I want to see you try to win.
I'm trying to figure out if this is also especially good for Taylor to have this added kind of cushion, because I think of Brittany and I'm like, okay, this does give her a little bit more of a cushion, but at the same time, she is more attached to Michael as a second nom option if they were ever to be nominated, as opposed to Taylor, where it's like, I always imagine the scenario that Brittany goes out in this game is Michael and Brittany get nominated and Michael wins the veto and they say, okay, we'll take out Brittany now. Whereas Taylor, I feel like, is the third in this, in which she still wouldn't be taken out even if that scenario would have played out. So if she had that on top of Monty going after Kyle going after Monty, I think this is really good for. I tried not to be too optimistic with the people that I like, but I also just feel like this is a good maneuver for her, especially. I don't know if y'all agree with that.
I agree with that.
I was just looking at what Shy Boy said in chat, that it's hard to take the emotion out of it when you got people in the house like Kyle, and that's so true. It's so hard, which is where I was getting clouded with my judgment, is in my hatred for everything that Kyle says and does. I just want to hate him so much, and guess what? I still do. But but I'm trying to not be like so Kyle's a trash bag. He is a trash bag, but I'm also trying to look at strategy and logic too.
Right.
It's hard.
Uh,
It's really hard.
Eddie asked, do you think Monty will take this chance to make a Final Four with Brittany, Taylor, and Michael? That's essentially what they're doing.
Yes.
And they're going to make it a Final Five, technically, hoping that Joseph
He's
comes back.
wanting with Joseph. Michael does not want with Joseph because it's not a dislike for Joseph. It's he can't have both of them because he doesn't want them. He already knows that they've formed more than one alliance without him where those two were together. He does not want to be with those two in a situation where they can take him out. So he's trying to play his odds. Monty's not looking at it like that, but he is looking at going to the finals with Michael and Brittany mixed in with, basically those five.
Yeah.
Michael's like, yeah, that sounds great. But then he's like, except Joseph. But he's not saying it out loud.
I know. Which, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only intriguing part about Michael's side of the house so far this week, I thought. I think the other conversations that they've had about Kyle, you saw Kyle's mom in chat, yeah. I love it.
I hope it's really her. Your son said.
Yeah, it's really her. She calls herself Kyle's mom on YouTube, which is the best part about that.
Yes.
I think the other conversations about Kyle, sorry, Kyle's mom, talking about your son now, where Monty essentially said, I saw a side of Kyle last week that I have never seen before. And I think that's just a great indicator of what's to come once the houses join. And I think that once the houses join back together and knowing what Kyle did, as much as he's attempting to try to form the narrative that he is not responsible for what's going to happen in Dyre Fest, they're going to know. And I would imagine he's going to jump up to target number one for them because they're doing this all hypothetically.
100%.
Just when they come back. Kyle was already being fishy last week. But once Kyle and Alyssa come back, along with everything that happened, Kyle is going to be the number one target, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt. So I'm ready to see that.
I'm so ready to see that. I'm so ready. And see, that's the emotional part of me because I can't stand him. I don't want to see him go home. I don't think the things that he says or the things that he does or anything about him at this point. And I never really did to begin with. It's just even more so now. But also, I think logically for a lot of them, it makes sense now. So across the board now, I'm like, yep, take him out. Like before, strategically, it didn't make sense for some of them to get rid of him, even though we were all like, what a piece of trash.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
He is a piece of trash.
Yeah.
But at this point, I think logically, statistically, game-wise, for a lot of them in the house, it does make sense to get rid of him. Not all of them. Like, obviously, not for Alyssa, but I'm not counting her.
And I don't know how much of Kyle's agenda that
okay.
Michael and Brittany will use against Kyle if he was to jump up to being the number one target, but they do have that ammo against him as well. However they will word it to other members of the house is their own choice, but they do have that in the back of their head if they want to bring that up against Kyle, which I think, I don't know, some of the other house guests might need to be aware of that. We'll see though.
Yeah, that's just why I'm thinking that he should have not ratted out the thing or the leftovers. He's in a terrible spot now and he's lost a lot of jury votes.
I understand actually why Kyle did it, though. I don't think it's the right move, but I can understand why he thinks in that moment it's the right move. Because
I agree.
Yeah.
Because for Kyle, with the information that he has, and then the way that he skews that information in his own brain to make it something that it is completely not, he was thinking already that there are factors at play that he is not a part of in the house. And so he was looking at I'm in a group with these people and already I feel like I'm being looked at and I've got to do something drastic. And basically he guaranteed himself 1 week is what he did.
Yes.
He's not.
Yeah.
He's not thinking further ahead than that. And that's.
I was just going to say, this is like very good for him short term. And by short term, I mean this week.
Really short, yeah.
Yeah,
Are we,
long term, this is the horrible. Like, this is horrible. So
long term for this podcast, are we officially switching our conversation over to Dyre Fest now? Do we want to call that? Any?
yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can, and then yes, so for the timestamp purposes, yes.
Okay,
But
cool.
we'll go
But
back.
I
We'll
will-
go back to it. Like I know why you're asking. We'll
I will-
still switch back and forth some, but yeah.
I will
Okay.
say, Michael, I was busy looking at the stats, and Michael is 2 vetoes away. No, wait, 1 veto away from tying most vetoes won in a single season.
And
With-
we just got
Yes,
to
I
Jerry.
did
Wow.
read that yesterday.
With 5, and that's held by Danielle and Janelle.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many
and
did
then
Casey win?
Casey
just
won
talked about
Casey
this.
won 4.
Okay.
4 or 5. Yeah.
I believe it was 4. But
I get lost because she won
She
so
won
many
most
HOHs,
vetoes in a row.
all in there too. Okay.
it was like all towards
Yeah.
the end too.
Damien, hi Damien. Damien is actually able to watch us live this time.
Yay, Damien.
I know, right? It's been a while. Damien says, ideally, though, is taking out Kyle a smart move because if I saw someone tanking their game like that, I'd want to sit with them at the final, too. Yeah, but I do. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I think there's plenty of other duds that you could sit next to that are easier to beat going into the finals than Kyle, like Brittany.
But
Brittany's not a dud. She just won a veto, Roxy.
yeah, but he is tied with Xavier and Steve Moses for most competitions won in a season.
Wow, that's crazy. What would
Yeah.
Michael do?
And then
Win.
he's what, 6? And then do you know who holds most competition wins in a season?
I should know that information. It's who holds.
Eli and y'all are way off track. Sorry,
I know.
Keep going.
Well,
It's
he
fine.
asked me a
Look,
question.
I'm trying to answer these folks in chat. You know,
I'm trying to answer Zach. What am I going to do? Leave him in silence like he's trying to give another Jasmine impression? Who is it, Zach?
It's Janelle with 9.
Okay.
So he has 3 more wins to tie that.
Cool. Caught up on all the stats. But I will officially set up Direfest combos, even though we've already talked about Kyle for the last 5 minutes. So Direfest, everyone. Once again, that is Terrance as the HOH. We also have Kyle and Alyssa and Joseph and Turner. They're all in the backyard for the entire week. It is brutal. Everyone looks like they're having a terrible time. Joseph is a shell of himself from what I normally have seen him as, in the previous 45 days. And it's brutal. They have their own, Terrance's HOH room is just a cot. That's it. Everyone else has got their own sleeping bags. They've made their own makeshift tent structure throughout the backyard. They have their own little
with the cushions.
yeah, they have their own little
I even
table
hate
in
it.
the middle of the yard
Where's the
with
plugs?
chairs. Yeah,
Ugh, mm-mm.
they got a pool though. They got the pool. That's about it though. So yeah, they're roughing it out there. And of course, the big headline of the Direfest side of the house is that Kyle spilled the leftovers to Alyssa and Terrance before the nomination ceremony. Pretty much within 30 minutes of each other, he kind of pulled Alyssa over and it was just like, there's a 7-person alliance. And we kind of just formed and took out Amira and Daniel and Nicole, and you didn't really know about it. And they wanted me to take you out last week, but I didn't do it. Ha ha ha. And then pretty much told Terrance the same thing, along with the added info of Joseph and Monty were just in your bestie fester group just to make sure that if you were up on the block that you would go home. And Monty was definitely taking a jab at you when he was talking about how you were the only one to have his back. And Taylor yelling at me last week was not real. And just giving him little trinkets of information. Along with that, that's basically the conversation. Did not give him the name, the leftovers, but also spilled that he knew about old school, kind of just giving everything that he knew, his entire game to Terrance minus I don't know. Little bits of information here and there. But Terrance is aware of the leftovers. Alyssa is aware of the leftovers. That's the big thing going into the nomination ceremony. Obviously, he's doing this to keep him and Alyssa off the block, because if him and Alyssa were off the block, that guarantees that one of Joseph or Turner are going to go home at the end of the week, essentially, if Terrance is along for the ride. And it worked, because at the nomination ceremony, we see Joseph and Turner up on the block. The feeds came back to 10 minutes of silence. Nobody was speaking to one another. Joseph,
which felt like way longer than
I
that.
know.
It was so awkward. I was
Gosh.
like, anyone gonna say anything?
Yeah.
Ever again? It's like, are the mics off? What's happening?
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
And so we can talk about this now. Obviously, I didn't just give a full transcript of what Kyle said to Terrance, but we can expand on this a little bit more.
Basics.
Because Kyle doing this obviously is a good move in the short term, like y'all said. And the reason he's doing this is only
But
because of the position
It
that
was
he
unnecessary, though.
he didn't have to do it. No.
He didn't have to do
No,
that.
he didn't.
But he thought that he did. And in the short term, it saved him. But in the long term, it's going to hurt him.
Yes.
Like,
I think if Kyle didn't do all of this, there might have been
they
a
could have
slim
just sent
chance.
Alyssa home.
Yeah, like there might have been a slim chance that he was on the block, but Alyssa would have just left, like, regardless.
Mhm.
I even, like,
Yep.
once I saw the dynamics of the house, I was like, well, it's been real, Alyssa, but I guess I'm saying goodbye to you on Thursday. And then Kyle just literally spat everything out, and I was so shocked. I like immediately ran to the live feeds, I remember, and I remember it was so awkward watching his conversation with Terrance, just because I feel like the backyard is like not very big, and so like seeing the two of them try to have the conversation as Kyle or Turner and Joseph are like obviously a few
Yes.
feet away, and he's like, so then we made that group. It all started on the day that Amira left, and it was like, okay, they're literally right there. Like
Well, that was
it was so awkward.
And
like,
that was his second attempt at the conversation too, because the first time they were sitting on the wall and he was like, I told Alyssa some information, but since there's people around, I'm going to tell you later. And I'm like, no, tell him now. Please tell him now. But I had to wait like an hour before they finally had that conversation, which is, I mean, the most brutal thing to happen for, I know, a lot of people that love Joseph and love Taylor. And yeah, it's brutal for Joseph. I know this is. But at the same time, it's a good move for Kyle this week. And that's what we're going to settle on. But it's a position that he put himself in, is the sad thing about this.
Yes.
This is based on his agenda, if we're
gameplay.
going to call him that. Yeah, that he created himself. This narrative that he created and thought that put him on the outside of the seven. Every time I say the seven, I think I'm talking about the boys in the Amazon Prime show. But the VOT 7. But he did this to himself. He put himself on the outside of the seven by creating his own narrative, by being paranoid enough about it. And now, because of that, he thinks he has to do this, and he thinks it's all for his own good. Like, none of this was caused by himself. He thinks all of this just happened to him. Like he's the Job of the situation. And he's not. He is very much the villain here at this point. And he's playing the rat game, which, I mean, sure, this week it's entertaining for some, I guess. And it's a good move that's going to get him through this week. But again, once he walks back into that house, once everybody sees what he did, he's done. Like, this is it. This is the end of Kyle.
He has to win HOH. Like, he has to immediately win HOH or he's done for. Which I think he'll go home the first chance that they get.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's going to have to.
I mean, he spent all last week saying, I don't want to be the one who is directly responsible for sending Alyssa home. I don't have a problem sending her home. I just don't want to be directly responsible for it by using this veto. So then we come to this week, and now, and they were already like, I don't like that, but I'm going to let it go for right now because we're still going to get out somebody that's, you know, good for,
Right.
like, it was good for Taylor's game to take her out, take Indy out, who is not my girl, by the way. And so, just for clarity. And then we come to this week, and now it's like, oh, okay. So you were definitely full of it, just like we thought, because now this week, here you are, and you're just like spilling every ounce of tea that you have to people outside of our alliance to save you and your 10-second mate for 1 week. For 1 week. When you could have kept your mouth shut, gone up on the block next to her, and they would have sent her home, probably. But he didn't want to take that chance, and so now he's gonna have to win HOH, or he's done for, because I just can't see him talking his way. I mean, what is he gonna say? Unless, you know, they want to keep him for a while longer and let them still but against each other.
Did you hear his whole elaborate plan of what he wanted to do when like the houses came back?
Yeah, which isn't gonna work. Like, there's 3 other people who are going to say no, that's not what happened. Yeah, I didn't get to see that full conversation.
Oh, that he's gonna blame it on Joseph.
Yeah, and like lie about who won the
not
comps
Joseph and Turner,
like...
or not Turner or someone else who's in the alliance. You're gonna blame it on Joseph, right? The person who's not white. Okay, we see you, Kyle. And this is where the emotion comes back into it, where I'm like,
yeah. And Nick, that's just the most ridiculous thing you can do, because Turner is also going to be there. And Turner was already suspicious yesterday. I don't know if you saw, like, after he told Terrance, after they had like,
hey, Devon, fuck you. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna keep doing it, and I don't give a shit what you think. No, bye-bye. Anyway, continue, Barrett. So sorry, but not really.
Love it. So
I think this is new BB. We're still BB6 over here.
I just like the people that are listening audio only. They're just like, what happened? Like, why did Roxy just yell? So, okay, I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, so Kyle has the conversation with Terrance, and they're over there on the couch in the backyard for like 10 minutes in a row, just with Kyle looking the most serious he's ever looked in his life. And then Turner talks to Terrance right afterwards. And I just have a sneaky suspicion that Turner knows exactly what Kyle told Terrance. And it's not even a sneaky suspicion. I think if everyone watched Kyle and then watched Turner talk to Terrance right afterwards, they know that Turner probably has a good idea what happened here. Because Turner, throughout this conversation, is just going to keep being like, Terrance, you look like you're thinking really hard. Like, you're really lost in thought, which Terrance given was. This broke his brain getting this information right before having to do nominations, after he was set on just going for Kyle and Joseph as the nominees. Like, that was it. And after that, he was a changed man after that, for sure. And then Turner just kept being like, talking about, like, I don't know if Kyle just like told you some fishy information. Like, he kept trying to prod Terrance into telling him exactly what Kyle just talked about. So Turner going back into this house, assuming that Joseph is going to leave this week. Turner going back into that house he's not going to let this happen. He's not going to let this misinformation of Joseph, of all people, spilling this information to Terrance right before being evicted. Like, no, that's not going to happen. And so that's a terrible plan by Kyle. I don't even know if him spilling the information was a good plan in and of itself. Not for the long game. For the short game, sure, it's going to get you through this week, but it's not going to get you through 2 weeks.
It ain't going to do anything for him unless he or Alyssa win HOH, honestly, because Terrance can't even win HOH, so because he's outgoing. So, like, literally, you are doing all of this.
Yes, he did. He just did.
I meant, like, actually, like, he cannot compete.
I know. So... Sorry, I was just interrupting you because Devon said they're going to stay and watch, even though they hate me. Okay, do that.
Well, I'm glad Devon likes
me.
Glad
you're here.
I was just saying, like, so by him doing all this, it guarantees him to survive this twist. But, like, past that, unless him or Alyssa win HOH, those two will probably be the noms for next week. So, I don't know. I just cannot wait to see the reactions of the other house, like the inside crew, whatever we're calling them. I do not refer to them as the stupid names that CBS gave them either. They are the backyard house and the inside house in my head. So I cannot wait to see Taylor's
The ins
reaction,
and outs.
especially, but Michael and Brittany and Monty as well. I'm sure they're gonna be shook as hell. Their first thought will probably be like, "Oh, Alyssa won veto." No, girl, just you wait. They're gonna get the full tea from Turner. So
Mm-hmm.
If he stays.
I think he will. Well, if he doesn't, then they'll get the full tea from Joseph. So
I just think Joseph is not.
Sad if Turner goes home.
Joseph does not see the ammunition that he has,
mhm.
which is the 5 squatters.
The 5 squatters. Is that what you just called them?
I mean, the 5 SWAT, whatever.
He did that last time too.
They're
Squatters.
squatting in the Big Brother house.
That's
No,
their secret handshake. It's just all of them squatting in one room together. That's it.
Mhm.
But if he were to use that and flip it, because Indy was involved in that too, and use it as, well, they wanted to keep Indy, and they were pushing for Indy to stay and trying to get people to flip over and get you sent home, then that could be a good way in. And I think if he just talks with Terrance and just slowly starts to convince him, get him to be friends again, then get Terrance to be like, hey, I fought for you. I wanted you to stay. And then use a veto on him and put up Kyle. And if there's a tie, then vote out Kyle.
Maybe. I don't know.
We didn't think this was going to happen either, so...
No, I didn't. And the thing is, Terrance, I feel like, can be swayed to do something. But the thing is, Terrance has all of this ammo about the leftovers. And I asked y'all this yesterday. It's just like, should he just out all of this in the backyard with the 4 other remaining people? Yes, Roxy, I'll get to you in a moment. Actually, right now. Roxy, what do you want?
What do you want?
Is it
You may speak.
Can I speak? Can
Yeah.
I speak? I didn't
Yes.
know because Devon said I couldn't.
Interrupt me.
Anyway, I will. I'll do it all day long. I don't remember what I was going to say now.
Oh, come on.
I don't. That's what happens when I have to wait. I got ADHD.
Okay. Then I'll go back to what I was saying. Do y'all think Terrance should openly discuss this information with anyone else in the backyard? Would that make things... Roxy, come on! What?
I remember now. You said Terrance, and it reminded me. You were talking about like Terrance is easily swayed. He is. That's his whole game. He's swayed by every single time anybody says anything to him. Whoever is the last person to speak to Terrance, that is what's going to happen. You always... I mean, I think as a rule in general in Big Brother, I think you should always be the last person to talk to whoever has the power, because
Yeah.
typically that has some weight to it anyway. But Terrance is especially vulnerable to that power. Whoever talks to Terrance, he's like, okay. It's like he's being hypnotized by everyone, including Brittany.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. So there.
And if we're going into like Terrance's mind right now, he is given this information and basically, and he asked Kyle during this conversation, just like, and you are for sure 100%, you're the only one who would back me up on all of this if we were to move forward. And Kyle's like, yeah, sure. So in his mind, he's got Kyle and Alyssa at this point. So that would be reason not to out anything that Kyle has told him. But at the same time, it's gonna come out eventually. And so that's just what I've been wondering. And his reasoning to Turner and Joseph for after he nominated both of them, when the feeds came back on and we had the worst silence of all time, he went to Turner and he was basically just like, yeah, I was talking about OTEV and how I threw it and you said facts. And I was like, oh, I didn't know he knew about this. And that's why I nominated you. One of the worst excuses I have ever heard for a nomination in my life. Like, there's no way he did not think of that 5 seconds prior. If he thought of it any more than like prior to that with any more thought, that is Terrance, what are you doing? That is not good. So that's why I'm just wondering, like, should he just be like, Kyle told me information, I can't say anything else, and then just let them all stew on that? I think that would be fun for me. I don't know if it's the best move, but I kind of want to see it happen. We have a long week is the thing, so I think it could come out eventually.
Is there a way? Go ahead. Go ahead. I surely don't want to interrupt, Nick. Go ahead.
It's okay, Roxy. Thank you. I was
Thank
just going
you
to
so
say,
much.
or well, ask, I guess, have Turner and Joseph like discuss like if they think Kyle did something? Like, has that been like talked about at all? Do you guys know? Because
I haven't seen a Turner Joseph private convo just yet. I've seen like Kyle and Turner and Joseph talk, and it's just been Joseph, and this is pre-veto, but
yeah,
which was them just being like, I've got your back 100%. Like it's been basically that kind of conversation. But
it's like really like, I don't know what the word is, but it's interesting, I guess, to see Kyle go from like, I saw his conversation with Joseph and him being like, "Oh, I'm thinking with my dick, bro. I gotta stop." And then it's like I saw his conversation with Alyssa where he outs everything, and she's like, "You have to tell Terrance." And then he runs and he tells Terrance everything, and then he goes back to Turner and Joseph, and he's like, "I don't know what happened." It's just like really like crazy, I guess, to watch him like run around the whole backyard and like spread all these lies and like have a different story with each like he's like juggling a lot of things right now. And how long can he do that? Like, let's be real, it's gonna like come
Well, at least
crashing
for this
down.
week.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, right?
It's working for this week, but then after Terrance is not HOH anymore, it's not going to work anymore.
yeah, they're gonna go back into the house, and Michael's gonna be like, Terrance, why did you nominate Joseph and Turner? And he's gonna be like, what? Well, Turner said facts to me one time, and I said that was fishy. I gotta put him up instead of the showmans.
So now that veto is over,
Yes.
can we talk about this right now?
Which, yeah, we have not talked about that. I'm surprised we have not talked about veto yet. The veto competition ended right as we were going live. And spoilers for the Dyre Fest veto competition. Terrance was the winner. We also never mentioned that Tiffany hosted the veto competition on Michael's side of the house.
Yeah.
Never mentioned that once. Tiffany hosted it.
Was she there, or was she up on the
That's a good
Eagle's
question.
nest?
The only
It's Tiffany Russo, by the way.
yeah. Yeah.
You wish.
Which makes me think, like, if they did the same competition, which is the stay and fold competition again, would they have someone, since like Michael's group is the big BroChella, it's the nice festival that everyone's going to, so they have America's favorite player. Did they I wonder if they had like America's most hated player host their competition.
God, did Aaron Greer's come and like
Yeah.
come?
Jackson Mickey is in there hosting the stay fold. Kyle's like, can you give me some tips?
And Kyle said, "Can I get your autograph?"
Vanessa Russo, Derek Levasseur, and Cody. Cody were there
Yes.
too.
I can't with you.
I
I like Derek Levasseur. Anyway,
And I like Vanessa, so
well, I do too. So there, told you.
But Terrance was the winner of the veto competition for Dyre Fest, is what I should have said originally before going off on that tangent. So, yes, Roxy, continue.
Well, I'll forgive you. Yeah, Devon wasn't even here when you interrupted me with your clip. Listen, if Devon thinks I'm going to forget this anytime soon, you've got another thing coming. You don't know me. You don't know me. You know the rest of that line, Barrett. Anyway, yes. Be glad I didn't say it. So now that we know who the veto winner is for the outside folk, is there a situation that we think could potentially send Kyle or Alyssa, I don't really care which, hopefully Kyle, home this week? Is there a way for Joseph or Turner, but more so Joseph, because he's, I feel like, better at negotiating and talking? What can they say? What would be your plan? So if you're one of the two people on the block, what's your plan? You know, that he's one. Who you throwing under the bus? Probably Kyle, because you just watched him pss, 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 over there. So you know something's up. So what are you going to do?
I mean, Kyle is in a showman, so that should be your biggest ammo, first of all.
Yeah.
He's automatically in a duo. I mean,
and he's strong in comps. And
Yeah.
you can literally backdoor Kyle right now. And then you would have the votes to get rid of him essentially, because you take down Joseph, for example, you put Kyle up. Alyssa would keep Kyle, but Joseph promises to evict Kyle to Terrance, and then it ties, and Terrance can do whatever the hell he wants essentially and control the entire week, literally, because he had HOH, veto, and the tie vote. So
I feel like you also have to
I don't know
know
if any of
that
them are smart enough to do that, though.
no, probably not. But because I think Turner at this point, knowing that he's going to stay on the block, is just going to stay reserved until the end of the week, if that's even possible. Because I mean, gosh, they still have 5 days. That's wild. To sit there in the backyard. I can't even imagine doing that. But I feel like you also have to know the information that Kyle ratted out your entire alliance. I feel like that's essential to even make an argument with Terrance, because Terrance isn't going to sway, probably, knowing that if he fully believes in Kyle's story, which I think he does, I'm sure it put a lot of pieces together in his mind finally, with who is working with who. Then why would he ever change the nominations if they're all... My mic just fell. If their only argument is ever going to be about Kyle being in a showmance, because at this point, all Terrance knows is that he has Kyle and Alyssa. And when they go back in the house, Jasmine's not even going to be there. So he will essentially only have Kyle and Alyssa. So it's so hard to sway him unless you know specifically the things that Kyle told him.
Yeah.
Or else you're never going to meet him at the level that he wants you to meet him at.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But I
agree.
I feel like they need to. So, like, what did he tell Joseph why he was going up for? Because I don't remember that conversation.
Their conversation was always like, Joseph is a pawn. We're going to get Kyle out. That was it, essentially. Which it was always interesting to me because they were talking about getting Kyle out. But then when Kyle had the conversation with Terrance, it was like, I swear to you, they're going to come up here and they're going to try to get Alyssa on the block. Like, that's their goal. Alyssa and you are the only two, or Alyssa, you and Jasmine are the only 3 that are outside of the alliance. And then Turner and Joseph talked to him, and neither one of them even mentioned getting Alyssa on the block. And Terrance still was gung-ho about, oh, Kyle's telling the truth 100%. Which, I mean, Kyle was. I will say that. I'm not going to say he wasn't telling the truth 100%. But I thought it was interesting that Terrance still was like, oh, yeah, definitely getting behind this. Even though what Kyle told me was guaranteed to happen did not happen at all. I don't know. But yeah, Joseph was mainly just supposed to be a pawn next to Kyle, who was going to be the target.
Kyle's mom in chat is cracking me up because it's not really Kyle's mom.
What?
It's so funny. I know, the shock, right? The shock.
So you're telling me someone went in there and changed their name to Kyle's mom just to get us to think that it was Kyle's mom?
Or just to be funny, but yeah. That's what I want you to think. That's what I'm telling you.
So you're telling me that someone came in here
This is what I'm telling you. Yeah.
and changed their name to Kyle's mom because it's funny.
Shut up, Zach. Yes. Jameson, I'm so glad that you're here. I'm not glad that Devon is here, but I'm glad that Jameson is here. Jameson, I was going to tell you, I talked to Daniel earlier, and he loved your videos. Anybody that wants to see any of them, not Devon, you're not invited, but anybody else can go to the group and look at them. And Daniel said that he's super pumped to come on here and do a reaction video about that. So thank you, Jameson.
Roxy, you and Devine are going to be best friends by the end of the season. I know it.
No, I fucking hate Devon. I don't even know this.
So Roxy,
you say
Devine.
I say that now. This is true. I've had plenty of haters over the years that I've grown to like. Exactly. It'll never happen with this one. It'll never happen.
Like Raven.
Especially Raven, right?
Yeah, especially. Yeah. Devon's a Raven fan.
I'm gonna see in my notes what else I have about Dyre Fest. They talked. Alyssa and Kyle talked more last night about the leftovers. He just kind of elaborated a little bit more on it. That's when Kyle first brought up that he's going to pretend that Joseph spilled the alliance instead of him. Again, no way that works. If it works, I don't know if I should say kudos or I don't know. what to say at that point. But
Congrats.
I
You
would
fooled
like
an
to.
idiot.
I would like to see him try. Is I guess what I'm saying. Yes, Zach, please. I wrote down that Kyle at one point told Alyssa that she has too many teeth, but we can fix that. Interesting
What?
line. He's talking about her
What?
wisdom teeth, I think, and he said, "My brother's
You
a
have-
dentist."
You have too many teeth, but we can fix that.
Yeah.
That is exactly what you want to hear from your 10-second lover. That's
Well,
exactly what you
he
want
was
to hear.
like he was like complimenting her. He's like, "I like your nose. I like your smile." And then he said, "You have too many teeth, but we can fix that."
That
My
is the-
brother's a
That's
dentist.
her only flaw, I guess, huh?
That is the weirdest thing. Well, it's not the weirdest thing you said. The weirdest thing he said was that they had 10-second sexual intercourse, and he used the word sexual intercourse. Barrett loves it when I say that. That's the weirdest thing. It's not the worst thing he said. He said plenty of that. He said a bunch of stupid stuff. But you have too many teeth? Right, Trell. Trell said that sounds like a threat. Right?
I know.
That is ridiculous.
It does sound like a threat.
You've got
He's gonna
too many
punch her in the
teeth.
face.
Divine, you have too many teeth.
Quit talking with all those teeth, Divine.
How dare you? Your mouth's just full of teeth. That's so weird.
Oh, the
I wonder
the
what he
not-
would have said to Zach from BB-8.
Oh God, stop. So talking about kind of just how the backyardigans are operating this week. They have their table and chairs in the middle of the backyard. And I didn't really notice this until after the nomination ceremony. So I'm assuming they did the nomination ceremony at this table in the middle of the backyard. Are y'all thinking the same thing?
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay. So I'm just trying
I
to
mean,
imagine this hilarious nomination ceremony in which Joseph and Turner are blindsided. Okay. And I just thought to myself, what a perfect time to bring back the key wheel, if we were ever going to bring it back, was to have a nomination ceremony in the backyard with no LED screens behind them. Because I kept thinking, like, well, what are they going to do if they only have the two keys that they're turning again? They have no screen behind them to back that up. So is Terrance just going to say
Maybe the
his nominations
safe
to them?
People's key will be in the box.
Oh,
Kind of like
Okay.
a key wheel, but like without them having to produce a whole freaking key wheel for like one thing.
yeah, maybe so. I was just, trying to imagine this in my head when, of course, they do the split screen
Yeah.
during the episode when both houses are
I'm
going on at once.
the split screen. I also am like, how are they gonna like edit all of this? It's very weird to me because I'm like, the episode is still only 45 minutes with
And they
40 minutes
took 2
without
hours
commercials,
on Thursday to show nothing.
I know.
Literally
Absolutely
nothing. It was so bad.
I do think
Alex
so.
wants to hear Zach do the British accent again.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't
Call
mind,
back.
Zach, you have a fan.
Not a-
Oh, we put the pressure on him. He can't do it. And look
I
at
know.
him.
It's got to happen naturally, I guess.
Yeah, it's gonna happen
Zach,
naturally.
we'll let you sit on it whenever you feel ready.
Whenever we talk about,
Feel
whenever
free to
Jasmine comes up
interrupt.
naturally,
Yeah.
then I'll do it.
So Jasmine, everyone.
Oh.
No, I'm just
Roxy's
But-
girl.
What I think they were gonna do outside is, what they're gonna do is have a little projection screen, like in the sky, how they do in the Hunger Games, and then they're gonna have sounds playing, and then they're gonna be like, today's nominations are, and then it's gonna have Joseph and Turner, and then Joseph and Turner just gonna be looking up, and then Terrance is gonna be over like, I've decided to nominate you two for eviction.
Yeah. I like
And
that.
The cannons will sound.
Yeah.
And
And then the inside people are
the
like,
trumpet
what the
music
hell?
for Joseph at the end of the
Mhm.
week.
yes, that's what's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Honestly,
Very
Joseph
dramatic.
deserves that, I will say. If there is anyone in the house that deserves fanfare going out of the house like that, a la Hunger Games, it's Joseph. Joseph
do
is the
agree.
roux of this game. And I'm standing by that.
Yeah, and you know how Leighton feels about that. She told
Yeah.
you the other day.
Did y'all hear
during
me?
our watch party. No, what'd you say?
Oh, y'all were frozen for a second. I think it was just me though.
We can't help that.
No. We can help what we do.
What did you say? intriguing.
Wow.
I didn't know.
Wow.
I think Zach's
Okay.
having trouble over there.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Bless it. I say all the time, I don't really care about the key wheel. I do. It's not the key wheel that I want. It's that the order of the keys is what is the.
People used to
I
read
don't know, the
into
thing
that
that
all the
I love.
time and be like,
Yes.
well, why was her key second? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they
Yeah.
would like, it added kind of like an extra layer to the game that we literally do not see at all anymore. And I personally loved the drama of it
Yeah.
and the whole like, where's my key? And I loved when there was like
Open your
the one
purse.
key. I loved when there was the one key and it would like flash to the three people like all dramatically like,
Yeah.
whose key
And
is
some
it?
of those shots weren't even like from the actual thing because beforehand
Yeah.
they make them all sit at the table and they're like, okay, nobody can talk. Okay, look at different people, like the
Mhm.
Brady Bunch opening, and they're all just like, and then they use those shots in between to make. But I have heard like what Nick's saying. Like that key order made a difference to a lot of people because they would talk about it
Mhm.
afterward, and we don't get that as much or at all now because there is no order. So I do kind of hope that we see at least, I don't know, some sort of reiteration of that in the future. I would love that.
Yeah.
But what if?
I think as far as editing the episode go, I agree with when in Rome in chat. It's just that there's not a lot going on in the feed, so I think this episode will be easy. It's not like we have hijinks going on.
Right.
We don't have a muffin gate. I wish we did. That'd be interesting this week. A long distance muffin gate going on. But I mean, essentially, I could see them easily dedicating, especially Sunday's episode. Well, I don't know because we have to have the teams picked. We have to have conversations happening leading up to nominations. We have the whole thing about Kyle spilling the leftovers. They may just show Dyre Fest more so than Michael's
Yeah.
group. They may be an uneven amount of time that we get allocated for each group.
As they
But
should.
yeah,
So we're not going to get a supersized special episode where they drag it out for an hour and 45 minutes.
At first, Julie made it sound like we have two houses, and then so it'll be in. And at first, I thought she was gonna say. I thought that she said 2 episodes, one for the inside house and one for the outside house. But obviously, that's not the case. But yeah,
I mean, no, it's not. We don't have the curtain. We don't have separate houses. We just
wouldn't want to watch that, honestly. If I have to watch 2 hours of whatever that was on Thursday
it really
twice, oh no, this whole week, no.
It was really shocking. It was as if watching that episode, what seemed like what happened here is that they had enough for just a regular eviction episode. And they're like, okay, we're good here, right? Like this will cover the first hour. And they said, actually, we're going to need a little bit more. And then they said, oh, well, I guess we could just show Terrance putting on more tattoos because that's what it looked like. Because they showed all the punishments, but then they went back to Terrance later on with more of his montage. Yeah. And it was just like, I feel like they just ran out and they said, okay, how about just one more? And then they still didn't have enough. They said, okay, I guess one more then. It was just, it felt so dumb.
or smart.
It did. I
No.
honestly feel like maybe they were. Well, this is why I thought the twist wasn't a full week, and I thought it was just the one night because I was like, well, why are they having a 2-hour episode just for a regular eviction then? Technically, and I actually even went to a friend's house because we were like, 2 hours, like let's watch it together. And her friend who had never watched the show ever in her life came over, and it was like, so she walked in the door, and the section of the episode where it was Indy playing her guitar thing in the middle of the living room, and she looked lost. And me and my friend, we were just like, just act like it's not on. Like it was very awkward because we were like, we don't even know how to explain this.
Yeah.
The whole episode, a disaster. But I think maybe they were gonna do a double of that episode, and then like when the whole thing happened the first week and they changed around the twist and all that stuff, maybe that's when they were like, actually we're gonna tweak this and make this happen here. And I don't know, to me it just made zero sense. Why
It
that
didn't.
episode
I
was
think
2
they could have.
hours.
I don't understand why they didn't just also include the schoolyard pick. Like that was the most confusing
Yeah,
thing to me. Like
you
why
guys
could
had 2 hours. I didn't even think we were gonna get the HOH in because
I
it was
know.
like, getting real close, and I was like, "Don't tell me I sat here and watched 2 hours and I'm still not gonna know who the hell the HOHs are." What
No,
the
I-
hell?
Almost.
No, I was paranoid they were gonna do that at a certain point. Like I started the episode probably at like 8:30, 8:45. So I was behind starting it. And so every now and then I'll look at my phone just to see, because I was going to go ahead and skip to when they started doing the eviction. I was going to get my BB updates alert. And so it was like 9:05 at that point. I was like, they still haven't started the eviction yet. This is a little bit concerning. And then of course I saw the BB updates alert. That was just like all of us watching this episode right now. And it was Board Turner at Jasmine's birthday party. Someone tweeted at me that I say birthday weird. So I'm going to
Wait,
pronounce
what?
it. Pronounce it. Uh,
You still-
Say it again.
they said I say it like birthday, but which I can hear. But that's just my
How are you supposed
Arkansas.
to? Like,
I hear that you
birthday?
say it.
birthday.
Birthday. It's birthday.
Birthday. I know what it is. I just don't say it like it
You
is.
guys don't know how to
apparently.
say the word birthday? I'm confused.
Birthday.
This person was from New York, Nick. So
Birthday.
I don't know. Maybe we say
Birthday.
correctly here and y'all don't. Down south.
Wait, Nick, you say it.
Birthday.
Birthday.
Okay, Barrett, you say it.
birthday.
Birthday.
Oh,
I
it does
hear
sound
birthday.
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
I
hear it.
understood what they were hearing. I just can't. I can't change it. Like it's not gonna happen. All right. What else are we talking about? Anything we left
I
out
don't
so
know.
far? Do we need
So
a
much.
breather?
I just want to say I think it's really funny that Alyssa, who has done like kind of nothing to say the least, was the reason why the leftovers formed and is like low-key why they are like gonna split up now because Kyle has a boner for her. So I don't know where I was going with that. I just think that it's kind of funny.
The cooch is back.
It's not her, like she didn't be like, oh, we should form a leftovers alliance. She kind of told Kyle things and it kind of just happens that way. And now she's not even like, let's split the leftovers up. She kind of just was told that they were a thing because Kyle has a crush on her. So
I know.
it's like, it's really funny to me how she hasn't really done much, but she's had like this weird impact on the game.
He's screwing the cooch.
She has had an interesting journey as to just. She started off with Paloma, and it was just like, this is who I'm with, and then Paloma ascends into heaven, and she's left by herself, just like, okay,
She
well,
left the simulation.
yeah, she pixelated away. Alyssa was
God,
just
I zoned
left.
out for a minute. What? I just. Oh Lord, I wasn't here. I
She
was,
just
like-
came back from the simulation.
Yeah. Where-
I guess I had a glitch. I just came back to
Do you just look in the mirror
ascending
to wake up?
heaven. And I'm like, wait, what? What? Oh my God.
And then she joins up with the remnants of Girls featuring Daniel. And they just get picked off one by one while she's like, okay. And now she has stumbled into a showmance in which she thinks that she's playing with her closest ally, Kyle. And it turns out he has not played 1 second of this game with her necessarily.
And he just told her, and she still is like, okay, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
he just said, by the way, I haven't been playing with you at all. But, you know, now that exactly Kyle's mom. Now, now that you know, we had our 10 seconds, I've decided that I do want to spend a little more time with you. So, but like, what do you think she thinks about that? Probably, who knows? I don't know. Nick, that is your girl. What do you think? Like, I'd be pissed.
Oh, like if you were Alyssa and you
Yeah.
got you. Yeah, I would be upset too. I don't know why she's not. I feel like she kind of doesn't have like the positioning to be pissed off though too in a way, because it's like if you were told that there's this big alliance and you are literally the only one of like 3 people that is left outside of it, who can she even vent to? And like that's that backyard that she's into, it's like, okay, who are you gonna vent to? Kyle, who told you the information. Terrance, who I mean, I have seen her and Terrance get a little closer throughout like this week.
She took off his tattoos yesterday.
She did. And it's like, I don't know, she like lost all her friends, so she kind of doesn't really have anybody that she could go to. And now that she knows that the whole house is lined without her, it's like I don't really know what I would do in that kind of situation, because it's kind of like in a weird way the Brittany Haynes situation, but a little earlier, where Brittany was the last one left outside of that alliance, and Alyssa's not the last one left, but she will be one of two after Jasmine leaves this Thursday.
Oh my gosh, that was a horrible day. That was a horrible day.
Oh, it was. I remember watching that on the feeds. But it's just like it's a kind of a similar situation that Alyssa was in last season. Not this Alyssa, but
Right.
they are friends. They're both from the same place. Which is really friggin' weird. So
yeah.
I think in that
You
town,
just
that's the
stand
only
Alyssa's.
thing. Do what?
So we get it. Nick only stands Alyssa's.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
do only stand Alyssa, even if your name is spelled
I was about to
Elissa.
say.
So
I hadn't
yeah.
even thought about that.
That's the thing. Alyssa has actual pertinent game information for the first time, really, this entire season. So I'm just interested to see how she uses that, if she does it. I mean, obviously, I don't think this week she's going to use it. She's not going to be like, "Hey, Joseph,
For what?
I know," just from across the backyard. Like, she's not going to do that.
What's she gonna do when she goes back? When the house comes back together, the only other
still
person
can't do
who she can
anything.
tell won't be there.
Yeah.
So
But
there's
that's-
nothing she can do.
But that's the power in knowing this information, but also having nothing to lose, though, is you could do whatever you want. I'm not saying she can do anything really with it other than cause chaos, but I want her to cause chaos with it at least. At the same
She's
time,
not
though, if she
going
does
to.
that, she outs Kyle, and then Kyle goes, but maybe she should have Kyle go. I mean...
Maybe she should have Kyle go, because he is her Paloma right now. If you remember how you just said she was with Paloma in the beginning, now she is attached to Kyle, and Kyle is public enemy number one basically after this week. And just like you said with Brittany, where if you see Brittany going out in the game, it's because she's next to Michael and Michael wins the veto. I see the exact same thing with Alyssa, where it's going to be Alyssa and Kyle on the damn block. Kyle's going to win the veto, and Alyssa's ass is out of the house. So I think if Alyssa really does want to stay in the game and potentially win, or I don't think she could, but I mean like potentially go as far as she can. I know I don't mean to say Alyssa has a chance at winning. I just mean if she wants to remain in the house, she should go guns a-blazing with that information and be like, F you, Kyle. But
Yeah.
I don't think she has that mentality at all.
She may not even need to go guns
she's more
blazing
like,
with it, though. She could
Effing
just...
Kyle.
Yeah. She doesn't even need to like out that Kyle. I mean, Kyle's going to do it to himself, I think. So she may not need to do anything in order for Kyle to go home first. And if Kyle goes home before
Just has to
her,
make sure he doesn't win the veto.
yeah, she just has to make sure someone is going to go home that's not her after Kyle is the only thing. Which
I will say, now that I'm thinking about it too, if Kyle does go to the jury house, that's like 3 votes for Alyssa.
it might actually be, which is the wild thing.
Jasmine, Indy, and Kyle would probably all vote for Alyssa in the final 2, depending on
Well,
who
for
she's
sure,
next to.
Indy, because Indy's already said in her 10-minute monologue that Divine probably hated. How dare a woman speak? That she's voting with her heart and how people made her feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I do think that's accurate. And I hadn't even thought about that. And that is honestly a little bit scary. It's a little bit scary.
It is,
world
honestly.
Where Alyssa is the winner? No.
Another note that I made from yesterday from Dyre Fest, I forgot to mention in the conversation where Terrance was like, Turner, I put you up because you said facts to me, and I didn't know that you knew information. Turner also went on to say, well, when you put me up, I thought, oh, well, I guess I did put him on the block, so he's putting me up on the block now. And Terrance immediately was just like, oh, yeah, that's also why. Like he's probably thinking, oh,
Yeah,
that was a
that
much better
times
reason.
two.
Why didn't I think of that first? But I thought that was really funny. The only other thing was, if you want to know how bored Dyre Fest is in the backyard, they were talking earlier on Friday about how much they just wanted a ball to throw around. And Kyle at one point said the line, well, that was really fun when you threw me the orange today. And that was it. That was their peak entertainment, was them throwing an orange around just once. Not even like just tossing it around. They just threw the orange
thus
once.
our peak entertainment.
I miss last year when they would play Mafia.
I don't.
I don't. Ew.
I don't either. I liked the one game that Ozzy used to host where they would, I don't remember what it was called,
The talent show.
but I don't think it was a talent show. I think it was like Heads Up 7 Up, but like their own way of playing it. I don't remember what it was, but I remember they all had the like squirrel shirts on. It was like right after that veto, and she had on like the headband and her hair up and like the thing. Yeah, the squirrel. Zach, come on, it's your cue.
Love it. I just always think of like people joining, like when things like that happen on our stream. It's just that's the first thing that they see. They're never coming back.
Like my friend walking into the house and she sees Indy playing guitar in the living room, and everyone like,
I'm sorry.
Taylor's rent. Why on earth that they withheld all of that from the feeds? I'll never know. Maybe because they were afraid
it wasn't
that it would
even
actually...
copyright music. Like
Well,
I was
maybe they
expecting
were...
like, oh, it was like they covered this song. They covered a Rihanna song or something. I don't know. CBS is weird, and that's why they can't play it on the feeds. No,
well, maybe
was,
they
like,
were afraid
weird
that they
music.
would do. Like because they have that and they're in that moment. Maybe they were afraid they would sing something. But
Maybe.
also, I mean, it has to be over a certain amount of time. I don't know. But anyway,
just cut it.
I will say, though, that I thought that Taylor's performance was enjoyable. The kicks, the wig coming off. I was like, I wish that she had gotten this.
She was kind of serving, I will say.
Yeah, this was really so much better.
Do you think the live audience had fun watching all of that? Or do you think they're...
No. But I honestly was like happy that we kind of saw them realize that it was a live audience on the episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cute because like when I first saw the live audience, my first thought was, oh my God, they're going to be shook as hell when someone walks out the door and there's like 1,000 people screaming. Not really 1,000, but
10 million people lying in the streets.
For Indy of all people. I just thought
everyone was
cute.
cheering.
Yeah. It was very refreshing. I will say that it felt like automatically when you have the live audience there, it just gives a different energy to that eviction.
Yeah.
I thought so. It was nice to have all of that back. I don't know if it's like nostalgia. I don't know if it's nostalgia to even have a live audience in Big Brother because that was just 3 years ago. But at the same time, it's just felt so empty without people in there.
So my friend that I was watching it with, like, you know, the episode started and you heard like the audience and I was like, oh my God, there's a live audience. Like I freaked out and she was like, I haven't even realized that we haven't had one. I was like, girl, where have you been? You ain't noticed there's no claps. Like, so I don't know if people really cared that are casuals, which is interesting because she is definitely a casual. But
I'm sure they did. Surely. I mean, it's the only thing that casuals watch, so they got to care a little bit, right?
Right?
That's what I'm saying. Yes, Roxy.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for your input, Roxy. You can now mute yourself again. I do want to get everyone's thoughts. I know we maybe have reached near the end of our discussion in terms of what has happened in the house so far. But just to recap, and Michael's side of the house, the big BroChella, the innies, whatever you want to call them. Michael is HOH, nominated Monty and Jasmine. And then we have Brittany as the veto winner. She is not going to use the veto. And we will likely see Jasmine go home on a 2-0 vote at the end of the week. I don't see that changing at all. just based on the conversation that I heard them all have last night. And by them all, I mean the 4 leftovers out of the 5 in that group talking together, making plans for the future weeks. I don't think it's going to change. And then we have Dyre Fest in the backyard. We have Terrance as the HOH and the veto holder. He has nominated Joseph and Turner, and I would see right now Terrance not using the veto unless something insane happens before Monday. And then we will have what is likely to be Joseph going home on a 2-0 vote as well. So that's where we're at, everyone. But now I want to get everyone's thoughts, since we have now passed. Droxy, you're going to go first, believe me. Since we have now passed the midway point in this game, I want to get some sort of mid-season review here. Just how do we feel now that we've actually passed the halfway point, whether it's in relation to other seasons, just how you felt about this season without comparing it to anything else overall. Whatever you feel. Roxy, whatever you were about to talk about, you can talk about that and then give your mid-season thoughts if you would like to.
Well, I was going to say, April in chat wants us to discuss about how the double eviction will work.
Oh, yeah. Probably also need to get that, too. If I had to guess, I don't know. I think the only question is, like, are they going to bring them all together, or are they just going to have each group on lockdown? Like, are they going to be able to watch evictions, or I don't know.
They said they would have 2 separate evictions and 2 separate votings. So
okay,
I
think
no
that's
idea
most
how they're
likely.
going to do voting in the backyard. Is there even a DR back there?
no.
I don't know. I'm
How
trying
are
to
they
think.
doing confessionals?
I think they can get to the DR from up on the loft.
You have to go around.
Yeah.
You have to go around.
Okay. Oh my god,
you
that's gonna be
can get
so
there.
awkward watching them like climb and like go all the way to like through the thing, and then they're gonna like finally get to the voting booth or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then
it's gonna be like Xavier going to cast his vote last year, just taking 5 minutes to walk from upstairs.
5 minutes.
Well, they have 2 different DRs, so they'll
Yeah.
use the different DRs, I suppose. Like maybe they'll put them upstairs for the live show, as opposed to in the backyard or something like that, so that they don't have to walk as far to get to the DR.
Right.
That's up there. I don't know. It's
I'm
gonna be
assuming
interesting.
whoever like leaves will go out through whatever door it was that Lawan went through when he like left that comeback comp thing, because that was, I don't know, that's so funny to me, because it was like Brendan, you're back in the game, and you just see like Lawan like leave through like the side of a door. Yeah, so I feel like that's how it's gonna
Sad
be.
day.
So.
Yeah.
That was so sad.
I would like it if they. I would assume they're gonna just do one group at a time in the living room, is what I think, and then they're not gonna have them come back together until they do the HOH comp. I think that would be more interesting for them to see who went home only right before doing an HOH comp. I think that'd be the most intriguing, but I don't know if they can even do that logistically.
I wonder,
just
but
maneuvering around everyone.
Wouldn't they like hear Julie like be like, Joseph, you are evicted? And
yeah,
like,
that's the thing.
You see Taylor like in the
Yeah.
room, like,
I think it would be cool for them to like see the eviction part just like on a monitor in a different room, but that's too much work that they're not going to do is the thing.
Yeah, they won't give us that.
So I don't know. I don't know if an hour is going to be enough is the thing. We need another 2-hour special event, right? It
takes an hour for Jasmine to go cast her vote, let alone leave the house. Like, can you imagine?
I'm coming, y'all.
We have all 4 of the nominees sit on the couch at the same time. We have everyone do their separate votes, and then Julie evicts 2 people at the same time. That's how we speed it up.
Oh, that would be kind of chaotic.
I don't know if that would work at all, though, is the thing, because then you'd have to do separate. You have to do separate interviews. That's going to take so much time, unless they're going to be like, we can't do interviews for this episode. Just watch all the extended interviews somewhere else. So an hour is tough. But
you heard it here first. An hour is tough.
That's my quote. If you want to take it from this podcast.
Yeah, especially for Kyle. Good grief. He could never.
Stop. I mean, don't. But But I guess they could just treat it like a double eviction. Just start the first one at like 20 minutes in, which is really what they should do every time. Like, we don't need a bunch of build up for an eviction.
Yeah. Lee said this is BB, so I'm sure the logical thing won't happen. Isn't that the truth?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mid-season
Yeah.
review.
Yes, mid-season review. Roxy, you go first.
Oh, wait. Are you letting me go first because you only tolerate me? Or.
I'm just afraid if I don't let you go first, you're going to interrupt someone else.
Okay,
This
then
is
I'm not
true.
going to talk. I'm not talking.
No, Roxy, that was a joke. You
I
know
was
it
gonna say
Please
because ladies go
first.
first, but okay.
Well,
Y'all want to
listen.
assume?
I have to please the chat. I'm just kidding. There's
We'll
only
just sit
one
here and
moron in
recognize.
chat today. Only one moron in chat today. So
That's
my
like not bad,
mid-se-
though. Just one.
I know. Usually there's more. They're just usually not this stupid. So I told you I wouldn't let it go, and I won't. It'll be 2 years from now, and I'll be like, "Remember that ass hat?" Mm-hmm. Because I do.
Mid-season
forget.
review, Roxy.
No. I mean, I don't know. My mid-season review is, I don't know. It's been expected.
Has it?
I'm cautiously optimistic.
That's not.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a mid. What do you want me to talk about in terms of what?
How much
Where
you've
would you
been...
like rank this season?
Do you
That's
like
way
the
I look
show?
at it.
Is really the question.
Compared to other seasons, listen, it's been kind of a roller coaster, to be honest, because it started out like a complete heap of trash, and then it got a little bit better, and I was like, oh, there's promise, and then it got to, no, we were right in the first place, it's trash, and then it got to, well, okay, I'm just gonna look at it logically, and then it's like, well, it's okay, I guess. So in terms of ranking it compared to other seasons, it's above middle of the road. Like,
Okay.
it's like not at the top though. I don't think it's top tier. We'll see.
What's middle of the road for you?
Middle of the road would be probably like maybe God, season like 16 maybe.
Okay.
That's kind of like a middle season for me. I even though I really like a lot of the people, but as far as the game, like they had the Battle of the Block, and I hate that, and and it's just not like
season?
at the bottom.
Okay. That's fine. The thing is, a lot of seasons I would consider like C tier to me, so it's really hard for me to like. What is middle tier to me? A lot of them, most of them are kind of middle of the road at this point.
Yeah, like I didn't
Who
like
had a-
18 at all.
Who had a gate opening?
I don't know.
A
I don't have
gate.
I don't have a
opening?
gate near me. Believe it or
I
not.
heard
don't
a-
either.
I heard
A cabinet, maybe? Someone open a cabinet near someone?
Is anyone opening anything? It sounded very creaky, like it needed WD-40.
Mm.
It did. I heard it too, but I have no idea.
Any secret cabinets near you, Roxy?
No.
Absolutely not. What are we talking about? Secret cabinets? What?
It's her
I would
dungeon.
never.
Why do y'all want to blame it on me? Because you hate me?
I didn't blame
No,
you.
we tolerate you.
Yeah.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
Did Kyle tell you
Yeah.
that?
If
Kyle's mom
if-
said it actually.
whatever. No, that asshat Devon said it. If Devon only knew.
Okay, so
Mhm.
Roxy, you put this season mid tier.
Yeah.
Nick?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if this is like a hot take or not, but I feel like it's not. I think that this is like the best season that we've had since 20. So
It's
like
not a hot take. I was
it's-
gonna say the same thing.
Okay, it's like I enjoyed 23 as well, but I liked 23's cast looking back, and that's why I really enjoyed the season was
Yeah.
because everyone in the cast was so amazing. The gameplay was like kind of boring. this season has been like a little bit more unpredictable, which I have appreciated. And I don't like the cast as much as I do 23, obviously, but I'm liking those, like we got the blind sides and stuff, and like there's been some split vote. Like it's been giving more than unanimous boots, which I am appreciative of, because we've had that all throughout All Stars, all throughout 21, all throughout it's like I'm over that. 19 as well. It's like for me the best newer school seasons of Big Brother are 20 and 17. And I would rank this like somewhat near them, but like I don't want it. Like this is like a high middle season for me right now, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like it's
I
middle,
like
but
that.
it's like towards the top.
Zach, do you agree, or do you agree with Roxy? Middle tier or best since 20? Those are your options so far. Who do you agree with more?
A little above middle. A little above middle.
A little above
not
middle?
Not as high as Nick.
Which
Not as
may
high
be
as
the
Nick,
same
though.
thing then between Roxy and Nick.
No, it's not as high as Nick.
It's not my top 5. I know that.
Okay.
I think the way that I kind of decide it a little bit is, will I ever go back and watch it again? Not like straight through or anything, but like if I need something to work on, I put it in the background. And I mean, I don't know if I put this in the background. Like it's kind of.
You don't want to hear Jasmine's confessionals in the background? Come on.
God, no. It's an endurance comp in itself. It's not bad. I mean, besides the beginning, and I mean, I guess the pre-jury like was kind of rough. Up until
so the
Daniel
whole
left.
game.
I mean,
The pre-jury, you allow the whole game, is what you mean.
I mean, yeah, Nicole and Daniel are just like a stain, like a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not terrible. Like I feel like Taylor makes up for how bad they were, and others as well. Taylor and Michael.
And the boot order too. Like
Yeah, the
I
boot
hate them as well, but I'm glad that they are like
Yeah.
gone like they were out pretty early.
Like that was the best boot order in a while. But
23 was the best in a while, in my opinion. But the pre-jury, let me just say. But
so I put it at least top 15.
Okay.
So
okay,
middle, lower middle for me. It's I kind of feel about this season kind of how I feel about 16 and
Roxy.
I'm trying to think of another 13.
All right.
It's like, yeah, but it's also like, yeah.
I think you just
Right.
defined. I think you just defined mid with 2 sound effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Barrett?
All right. So I agree with Nick. I think this is the best pre-jury since 20. It's hard to rank anything above 20 with pre-jury in terms of just how much entertainment it brought consistently.
So good.
And so obviously you can't rate a season until the season's over, but that's why I asked for a mid-season review and not anything more than that. So I think if I'm just comparing with last year, because of just recency, I remember last year very well at this point. I like it more in terms of pre-jury. I thought the pre-jury boot last year was really good, but at the same time, it was kind of boring to watch. Travis didn't want to be there from the beginning, I don't think. Frenchie asked to leave, essentially. We had Brent, which was like, it was fun to fool him, but still a unanimous vote. It was just everyone in on the loop besides Brent, which I didn't think was like crazy entertaining, but it was still kind of fun in the moment. And then we have Whitney. Whitney was Whitney. And then Christian was the only, I think, decent part about, like, not decent part about the entire season, but the only part I am going to go back and watch about 23 is the week that Derek X backdoored Christian. Like, that was the only worthwhile week to me in terms of gameplay. Everything else was a steamroll, which was great for the cookout. I mean, perfect. But I'm not going to go back and watch it over and over again. So in terms of pre-jury, I put it above 23. 22, lights out, is better than that. Much better than 21, of course. Anything is better than 21. And then we go back to 20. I think this is the best comparison so far. But this week is going to really shake up how I feel, I think. Especially when they can join back together. I think that's going to set the stage for the rest of this game. And what I really love about this season so far is that I don't have anyone who I say, oh, this is a clear winner at this point. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, I think Michael, of course, he wins everything. It's easy to say, oh, he could easily win. But I still don't think he's going to. Last year, I very much felt like, okay, it's either Xavier or Tiffany. That was like my two, and then I could easily see winning the game. It was really nobody else the entire time. Year before that, of course, we saw Cody winning the entire game. Year before that, Mickey, he's winning the entire game. So I feel like we've consistently had all these. Even 20, Tyler, I feel like was like you could easily see him at the end. The fact that he didn't win adds a lot of intrigue to 20. But this year, I feel like it's so back and forth. Like we can cancel out Terrance. I don't think Terrance is going to come anywhere close. This may be a thing that we just look back on and clip for what I'm about to say. Alyssa. Anyone outside of the leftovers, you can't count them in at all. But with Kyle, you're like, could he go further than next week? Probably not. But does he have potential to make something happen? Possibly. I don't want him to, but he might. Michael has won everything. Will he continue to win everything? Monty is a competitor in and of himself. Turner is like the dark horse, I think, in terms of who could easily get to the end. This is the first time he's even been nominated was this week, and it was because there was only 4 people to choose from. And so, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of characters that are left in the play that make me excited to watch the rest of this game shake out.
Honestly, this would probably be a really good season if it ended with Taylor winning.
Then that's another thing. I think Taylor could easily get to the final, at least final 3. Like we were talking earlier, she has so much cushion now.
I mean, because she's not on anyone's.
All of this going on this week.
Yeah, she's not on anyone's lists. She could easily slip through.
I would like to see it. I need that on my side.
I would too.
Yeah, but that's where I stand on my opinion on Big Brother 24. So good opinions all around. I don't think any of us disagree necessarily. I know people are upset that they're going to lose, most likely going to lose Joseph this week. I don't blame you. I love Joseph. But at the same time, I didn't want to watch the leftovers still stay through this week intact. And I think taking one person out of the leftovers is going to shake this game up a little bit more. And I think that's what it needs once they can join back together. Believe it or not, I think this twist...
Taylor's going to be sad.
I know Taylor's going to be sad, but just add it to her character arc, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and now she has Joseph going to jury, who's like a guaranteed vote for her if she's in the finals.
Yeah.
So...
And she'll talk him up.
Exactly.
He'll talk her up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He will go to bat for her in the jury house.
And
I feel like you always need that like person in the jury house that's like really like strong for you. Your duo essentially.
Mm-hmm. They're making some good points in the chat. Well, most people. So like Eli Wilson says if Brittany can make it to the end and take out Michael and take Taylor with the veto this week, she could win. And that, I guess, is in response to Dylan saying there's not ever really anybody talking about how Brittany could still win the season, and she has a great shot still. And I think that those are
I don't think Brittany could win.
I really don't.
Well,
see
I
Brittany
think she
winning either.
I mean, because if it's Taylor will have, I think Taylor could give a really good final
I don't
speech.
think she wins against Taylor. I don't think she can
Taylor
win
could
against
get. I mean, Miss Congeniality. I mean, we saw the speeches that she's been giving. She could literally blow Brittany out of water, and Brittany could be like Julia, like, yeah, I played.
You mean Liz?
Whatever. One of them.
Yeah.
Your 2 favorite people. I know.
I do love the twins, but
It's a good thing Steve won.
I don't. Absolutely not. I disagree. But anyways, we're not talking about 17 right now. I think that Brittany doesn't really stand a chance at winning against more than half the people left, which is why I don't think she has a good shot at winning.
Trell just brought up maybe that she could win against Turner, which I think she would have a decent. Well, I mean, the thing is, we're halfway through the game. There's so much that could happen at this point. Leading up
Turner,
to
Yeah.
I think Turner wins against anyone
I think
Anyone's a
Turner wins
stretch.
against a lot of people. The thing
besides
the
Michael.
thing that Brittany doesn't have going for her is that the girls are not fans of hers. So you have Indy, Jasmine, and Alyssa. That's 3 votes that I don't see any of them voting for her next to like anybody.
You should put Kyle with
I mean-
Alyssa. They are voting together.
If she
I mean,
sits
yes,
next to
but
Terrance,
but Kyle's also working with Brittany, which is why I'm like maybe he'd vote for her.
Yeah.
Yet again,
But
it
then
depends on
you
who
think, like-
they're all next to.
Wouldn't Alyssa vote with Kyle then? Yeah, Alyssa would more likely vote for Kyle than Kyle would vote with Alyssa. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes, it
Mhm.
does. Yeah, you're probably right. I just don't think Brittany has a lot of people that really are going to like bat for her like that. Like she has Michael and Taylor, but outside of them, I see like people like Monty or like other people that are in the leftovers that are not a part of her trio, aka Taylor and Michael. I think that people would vote for somebody else over Brittany.
Yeah,
but-
I feel like in the back of their mind, I'm sure every single member of the leftovers just thought, maybe we should just accidentally drag someone that's not a part of the leftovers into the finals with me, because then I just have the entire jury at that point, or at least 6 members of the jury.
I think the only person Brittany beats is Terrance.
Yeah, she
I
probably.
can.
it depends. You still have half the game, though. I mean, she hasn't
do.
done very much at the beginning half of the
Yeah,
game, but she does have a good understanding of the game, and I do think that some of the people in chat are correct. Like, if she were to take out Michael, she's not going to, but if she were,
She would before.
I mean-
if they were in final 3 and
Yeah,
she
but
won
I
final
s-
HOH, she
yeah.
would.
And I still think that
like,
these
she
like
does. Go ahead.
I feel like the midweeks are the weeks that really make an impact on how people view your game. Yeah, there's the end game, like, that's always there, but it's like the midweeks, the way people feel about you, the way whenever jury starts, like that's going to be the type of environment that's going to build in the jury. So,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
do agree with that.
yeah.
Yeah, and now that jury has started, we've seen both Kyle and Michael embrace the rat game, in different ways. But Michael did his in a
Yeah,
goodbye
but
message. Kyle did
Michael's
his to
the
Terrance.
only one owning it, though. Michael is owning it mostly in the
Yeah.
VR. Kyle
I'm
is
wondering
not,
if
and that's my issue.
Kyle's
Well,
doing it
well,
out of
that's
feel.
not my only
Michael
issue.
is doing it out of
That's-
strategy.
Yeah.
Yes,
It-
Barrett, exactly.
I have way more issue with Kyle than just that, to be clear. But
Mhm.
Michael at least is owning it, and I don't mind that. I don't like some of the methods that he has employed to do it. I like the pitting of the people against each other. I don't like what he has utilized in order to get there. I don't like that. But
I think that Michael is gonna make it pretty far just because even though he's if I were in the house. I mean, but then again, Michael is a pivotal person to keep in. It's like, why are we letting this dude who has
Yeah.
basically won 4 vetoes
That's the thing.
and already 2 HOHs still here?
Yeah,
Mhm.
if you let Michael get to final 5,
He's winning.
that's the thing. Yeah.
I mean, he's played better than anybody else, whether you like him or not. He's played better than anyone else as a whole for the first half of the game.
Yes.
So I'm having a kidney stone.
I mean, even now.
Okay. Well, we can wrap this up because I think we're about done anyway. So, and we should
That's why her
so-
shirt says stone.
stop. Oh God, can never be able to find islands in the stream fast enough. Okay.
Kidney stone, kidney chamber, kidney prisoner, kidney goblet,
Ew.
kidney phoenix or
Please
order.
don't ever say kidney goblet ever again.
My kidneys
Kidney
hurt.
prince.
Dylan asks, "What's the most realistic final three at this point in the game? What do you consider that?"
I mean,
Michael, Taylor, and Brittany.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree with you. That's mine too. Brittany and Taylor did talk about final twos. I should mention there was a conversation, and Taylor was basically like, "Have you and Michael talked about one?" And Brittany was like, "Nope," because he knows he would beat me, and I don't think he wants to talk about it, which is not necessarily true in terms of how much they've talked about it. But I do think Michael, Brittany, Taylor, easy final three, and I think they are going to get to final five together. So we'll see how
Alyssa may pull a Pilar.
Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? No,
I-
wouldn't really.
I would be living.
I know you would. All right, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chilling through these 2 hours and 5 minutes. Roxy, thanks for being here through the pain. I'm very sorry. But we will be back on Wednesday to talk about if any action happens, leading up to the iconic special event double eviction that's going to be next Thursday. So be sure to join us for that. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, do all that fun stuff. Someone asked me what my America's favorite player was. I could see if Taylor doesn't get to the finals, I think it'll be Taylor. But if Taylor does get to the finals, I think it'll be Turner. That's my thoughts, which Jasmine will love. And yeah. What did I say? We'll be back Wednesday. Subscribe, like the video. Follow all of us on Twitter. I am at Spicy Barrett. Zach is at the Zach Perez. Roxy's at Roxy_Hotman. Nick is at the Nick City. Those links are also in the description below, as well as the link to our Facebook group if you want to be in there and then talk Big Brother 24/7 with everyone. Yes. Listen to us on all podcast platforms. That's about it. I don't have anything else. Zach, take us away.
Perception is reality. Our reality.
I turned up the music before you said it, and I'm really sorry about that, but I think it got through.
Perception is reality. Our reality. There.
You want to give us a Jasmine British accent?
Give me a fish and chips and the tea, governor.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thanks, everyone in chat. Not you,